Yo, what's good, y'all? John does music back with another video. In today's music, we talking reggae soulful music. I'm gonna show y'all how to turn this into this. Easy as that. Let's get into it.
Okay, so as you saw, we went from one idea to a great masterpiece of reggae music. So let's get into it. The first thing, the part one to this, I would say, is initial inspiration. What was that initial inspiration? As you heard, it was the horn section. Just that one melody horn line was all I started with. I was probably walking around the house. I don't even actually know what I was doing at the time, but that's what I heard. That's what I latched onto, and that's what I recorded into free loops. Let's take a listen. That's all we started with. Just that. And after that, I started to build upon that, right? I was like, okay, what are some other voicings that I hear that can go on top that would sound great? And what came was these two voicings here. We'll play them. So after we got the underlying horn melody, we got the two voicings on top. This is what we end up with. That right there sounds full as it is. So that the next section for me, the next part to this video would be what I call laying the foundation. All right, so what do I mean by that? At this point, I had the main melody in the horns. Now I wanted to kind of get a good foundation, a good bedrock. So for me, that was the bass line. And the bass line in reggae has got to be super, super. It's groovy. It's It's not really static. It's not stuck to the grid. It got a particular reggae bounce to it, but it's something you got to feel more than anything else. I used sound. Shout out to Sound Fingers. They got really dope, like all around reggae. You know, um, VSTs and plugins that are great for making reggae music. So this is bass tone. This is one of their plugins. It's pretty dope. Let's take a listen to what the bass line sounds like. So that's the bass line. That for me is the perfect bedrock, right? And this actually isn't 100% an original beat on my part. It's actually a song that's been used countless times over the ages. It's been the original, if I'm not mistaken, is Cornel Campbell's Queen of the Minstrel, Studio One from back in the day, right? So if you want to hear the original, that's where you got to check. That's actually available on YouTube. I put that video in the description so you guys can check the original out. Now we have the melody line in the horns, the 3-part horns, and the bass line. Let's take a listen to what all that sounds like together. We're getting somewhere. It's building. Now, the next thing I did after I did that was to work on the rhythm section. So what does that consist of? All right. So now we're looking at the skank guitar, the keys, the organ, the other melodic elements that are in the rhythm. So let's take a look at the skank guitar. The skank guitar is also by another Sound Fingers plugin, which is called Les Skank. a pretty dope plugin. This is not really the video to talk too much in depth about the plugins that I'm using, but I just kind of want to show you the tools that I use to kind of get the sound that we now have. So Skank. Okay, so that's our Skank guitar. But once again, once you get back into the beat and play it all together, you'll hear how that sounds like perfectly right where exactly where it is. The next thing is the keys. Nothing crazy about the keys. I used Keyscape for this, and I found a patch that I like. And yeah, let's take a listen. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy about it. Definitely have that vibe. And with reggae, you can't really be right on the grid with reggae. So I got a 25% swing here, and you kind of need that because you want it to have that smooth vibe, right? A smoothness to it. All right, the next thing focus on is the organ, the bubble organ or the double shuffle, as some people call it, right? So there's this pretty dope contact library, but it's actually one that came default with contact that I have in the vintage organs, and they got some really really dope patches, man. So I decided to use one of them, and I got the job done. Let's take a listen. Yeah, pretty simple. Pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to overcomplicate it, man. It's really a feel. It's really a feel, honestly. All right. Now the last part I want to show for the rhythm section is what I'm calling the distant piano, and I call it that based on the sound and the tone the piano has in this particular patch in this plugin. This is Omnisphere, by the way. So let's take a listen. This is a different melody line that I'm using for like a B or C section of the beat. Let's take a listen. Yeah. So let's take a listen to all of that together. Let's take a listen to the bass, the keys, the skank guitar, the distant piano, and the organ. Yeah, that's the melodic driving force behind the beat. And it sounds already without the drums. We about to go into the drums, but even without the drums, I can already feel the vibe, right? I can really get the bounce and the rhythm already as it is, the groove, right? So now let's add in the drums, and that's pretty much it after that. So first, let's start off with the kick and the rim shot or the cross stick, which is what I call it. A lot of people call it rim shot, but I call it cross stick. Let's see what that sounds like. That's it. Simple. And once again, the swing, right? Once you got the swing, it makes a world of a difference to the groove and to the feel of the entire drum section, the entire track, really. But all right, let's move on to the hi hats. Now, the hi hats, had I been using a drum sampler of some sort, like a FPC, perhaps, I'd been able to play this out with one plug, with one insert on the channel rack, and just make it a lot simpler. But honestly, I don't mind just having one, two, three, four, five different, five different individual samples here on the channel rack, and I'm clicking out the pattern. But that's fine. I don't mind. All right, so for the hi hats, you got to get certain accents for certain parts of the beat, right? So the point in which the skank guitar and the keys hit, that's when you want to have the most a good accent on your hi hat. Now every song is different. Obviously, it's not a one size fits all situation, but for what I was doing, I wanted to have that accent on the hit. Dun, chun, dun, 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 chun, dun, chun, dun, dun, chun, dun, right? So that's what I did here. And you'll notice too over here by the velocities, they're all different, right? To create that real element, right? Because when you're playing a set, you're not always no one playing the exact same velocity every single time you hit it. That's not really realistic. So in this case, you just want to vary up the velocities, change how hard, how loud that sound is, right? It'll help the ear to imagine it as something that's actually real when it's actually something that's being done in Free Loop Studios. Let's take a listen. There it is. There it is. We got that accent. Right? So that once you put the entire beat together, it's gonna sound perfect on that hit with the skank guitar and the keys. All right, let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about is what we call kete drum, which is something that a lot of like old school heritage culture Jamaican music has. It's hand drumming is that is another underlying element to a lot of reggae music. Let's take a listen. That's the kete drum. The next thing I wanted to get into is the timbale. Let's take a listen to what that pattern sounds like. This was just I made this pattern to kind of be a transitional roll more than anything else. And you'll hear it all throughout the beat. As you transition from out of one section to the next. So it's not a long pattern. Let's take a listen. That's literally it. That's literally it. Not too complicated, making nothing crazy. Another thing I want to talk about is this reverse symbol I add in there, add in the beat because I needed some type of bright symbol transitional sound going from one section to the next. So let's take a listen to what that reverse symbol sounds like. Yeah. Okay, so something else I wanted to add in the beat was a transitional drum fill going from the beginning, the intro, into the rest of the song. And when the drums come in and when the full horns come in, I wanted to have something that would key the mind to all right, we about to go into the next section now. So this is that drum fill that I came up with. And I clicked all this out. And once again, once you have a swing on there, it'll sound more realistic. Not too much of a swing though, but that swing allows it to sound like it's actually being played by a human being who's able to not always be on time. Because that's the good thing. Take a listen. One more time. You might have missed it. One more time. One more time, just because. So shout out to DM Khan. He's a reggae producer out of Canada. Dope producer. He has all these sounds that he's all these authentic reggae samples, kick, snare, drum, kete, timbale, all that stuff. That I got it from his kit because all right. That being said, we've listened to all parts of the rhythm at this point individually. Let's take a listen once again to everything that we have so far.
Thank you so much for watching my video. It's been a while since I made any videos. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Listen, comment, subscribe, tell somebody about this beat. Reggae music is dope. Soulful music is dope. This channel is all about making soulful music. That's it. Also, I just came out recently with my first lo-fi beat tape, hip hop lo-fi beat tape. So I'll add that link to my description below. I would love you guys to take a listen at some point. It's really filled 12 dope lo-fi, super soulful music, like instrumental. Like it's a work of art. I love it. Wishing everybody the best. See you in the next video.